What's up, guys? Welcome to Garage North. Tonight, gonna do a video. First of all, this is Brady. You haven't met him
What's up,
yet.
everybody?
So first video with him. Welcome to the channel, finally.
Glad to be here, finally.
But yeah, tonight we're gonna do the lowering spring installation on the RX-8. We're gonna be using Tein S.Tech. So we'll walk you through the process of that and try to get some good clips and kind of show you step by step how to make the change.
This is the rear.
That's rear, that's front.
This is your rear? I did not realize. So it turns out the RX-8 has. I didn't know this. Turns out you had rear coilover setup, full coilover setup in the rears. On my old Mazda, it does not have that. They just have separated springs and shocks.
Yeah, so this is the passenger side rear. So this goes up into the body and then it bolts to the frame with these two here. And then underneath there's just the one. So to get it in there, you'll see it, but it's just basically the A-arms that you pull out to kind of maneuver it out. It's a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. This is kind of bulky, but it's, like I said, it's not too bad. It should be pretty straightforward install. All right, so for removing the front side for the suspension, we're gonna start with removing the three 14mm bolts up top. And then for the bottom part, it's just these two 17mm that we need to take off to get this A-arm loose. And then there's one underneath for the actual shock mount, which is also 17mm. And once you pop those out, what we're gonna do is just pull the A-arm back a little bit, and then the shock will come out this way towards the outer side of the car. Quick point as well, when you're doing this, there's an ABS wire here. This is gonna fall back and it's gonna put a lot of tension on this. So make sure you either have someone hold it up or something underneath to make sure you don't pull it too tight and ruin your ABS. So this is going to be the rear that we're taking off now. You have to get these trim pieces off. There's a bunch of little small clips that you have to pop out. And behind that is going to be the upper mount for the rear. And there's two bolts on top of the shock and then two underneath that you need to take out, just to loosen it so you can pull it out from underneath. So right there, this is where the upper rear shock is mounted to on the frame. So you leave these, you don't need to take this actual bracket off. You leave that, it's just these two 14mm bolts that you take off, and then there's two 14mm that you need to take off, and that allows it to slip out from underneath. Alright, so this is the rear sole. It's kind of similar to the front. We're going to undo the A-frame arms here and here, two 17mm, and then the rear shock mount underneath is just a single 17 again. The reason we take the arms off is so that we can actually fit this out, because if you look, it's super tight on space. You'd never be able to get that out of there without getting these arms loose. So kind of loosen these up. It allows you to move the knuckle around and frees up the space. We're going to pull it out right in between the sway bar, and my rear end link's actually broken, so that kind of helps, I guess, but it's going to come out in between there. is what the completed assembly looks like, with the lowering springs installed, and I had to put new boots in because the old ones were completely torn to.
Well, you can't swear on YouTube.
So that's what we're going for. And we've got the other two ready to go here that we'll start now.
And we'll show you how to do it. There we go. All right.
So that's what it looks like when it's compressed. So now we can take the assembly off without it shooting out at
Should
us.
probably take our little gasket off here so we don't lose it. That's it, that's all.
Shock separated from the spring. So now we can clean this up, take the compressors off, put the new boots on, put the hat on, the new spring, and then put it all back together. And this is what the front spring stock compared to the lowering spring, just to kind of give you an idea of the difference. You gonna make it?
Yep. This, everybody, is your bump stop. Every car has them in the fronts and the rears at some point, so that your car, if it bottoms out, so your suspension hits max bottom, it will not damage your frame or your suspension components. It just squishes this up. You can always tell that this has happened a bunch of times, which is why it's used on the bottom. Problem is, when you lower your car, these bump stops are going to be way, way, way higher than they should be, and you're going to be hitting them all the time, which is not pleasant, and it's going to make it a really, really bumpy ride, even on lowered springs. So literally all you do is cut them. You cut them shorter. Most of the time, let's be honest, it's kind of a guessing game. Depends on how much you're lowering with your springs in the first place. With these ones, I can't remember what the lowering rate on these are. I think in the fronts and the rears were what, 1 3/4?
For the lowering rate?
Yeah.
1.2 in the front and just 1 in the rear.
And 1 in the rear. So we're only lowering 1 inch in the rear, so we'll probably just cut off about 1 inch of it just to be sure. And literally you just use your knife and do it.
Okay.
That's it, that's all. Ready to go.
Assembled front lower. Looks good.
Yeah, we
Okay. And when you're assembling the rears, you don't even need to compress them. That's it.
There it is.
So that's the rears done. That's all 4. So now just throw them back in the car. It's pretty easy. So here's the final install after putting everything back together. I didn't film any of that. It's basically just the opposite of removal. So just put the bolts back on the A-arm, but everything went back together real nice. See the rear in there. Lighting's pretty poor, but. And the next video is going to be redoing these brakes. So we're getting new rotors, new pads, spicing everything up in there, making it look all nice and clean. So thanks for watching the suspension install. Like I said, the next video is going to focus on the brakes. Until then, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and let us know what you think.